we'll move things around if we have to. And if they hop on, somebody just message me in the chat. So I'm looking for Brian Tishner and Eric Stetson. So if they do happen to hop on, let me know in the chat so that I can at least know that they're on and know when I'm going to be able to put them back into the lineup. So, well, listen, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get started. I anticipate there's going to be quite a few more hopping on the call, but I do want to welcome you to the Transition 30 February 2023 call. The whole idea of Transition 30 is we want to distill down, tap, and give you some really great, tons of information. So that's no different than tap, but we want to put you in front of the people that can help you. If you're weak in an area, you don't know about SkillBridge, or you don't know about resumes, or you don't know about recruiting, guess what? The people that are on this call, they are here. They have given their time to be on here today, and they want to be able to help you. So if you want to know about 4Block, or you want to know about Act Now, connect up, hit them up in the chat, connect up on LinkedIn. That's what this is all about. It's a great resource if you utilize it. People, we're not going to reach out to you and say, hey, you know, would you like to know more about 4Block? This event is all about you getting some great information and then taking that information and connecting up with the right people. Because guess what? My name's Todd Nelson. I'm the host. I'm a financial advisor that works with military and active duty and veterans. But not every one of you is going to be need or want the information that I provide. I get that. And not every one of you is going to want to know about, say, Aston Carter or Recruit Military, but some of you are. And these are some of the best people out there to reach out to. If you have an organization that you're hearing about and you want to know more about it, that's why we've chosen these people, is because the amount of information that they can share with you and their willingness to do that is huge. So we want you to take advantage of that. I do want to make mention of a couple of things. We are going to have an email that goes out. We are recording this. And so if a friend of yours you knew was signed up and wasn't able to get on it, there will be a recording. We'll send out a link to that. We'll also send out, I try to the best of my ability, send out the LinkedIn links for all of the presenters. So if you want to try to connect with them after that, you can do that. We'll send out a chat transcript if you want that. And then also Transition 30, we have a LinkedIn group where we let people know about events just like this. And so every 4 months we have that. We'll send out an invite to the group. If you want to connect up with that, just click on that link. All right. The last thing that I want to make you aware of is, and Dave Shantz is the guy that loves this, there is a phone today because we're in the middle of the thunderstorm. I'm having to improvise. So there is a 5-minute countdown. Each one of these SMEs has 5 minutes. They will never, especially Dave. Dave never gets through it. And I try to help him, but you know, what are you going to do?
I hope you lose signal in the storm, Todd.
What's that?
I hope you lose signal in the storm.
So Dave will go on for an hour and there's nobody to cut him off. But that 5 minutes is meant so that each of our SMEs get their fair share and get opportunity to tell them about their organization, because every one of them is passionate about what they do and in trying to help you. So if you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But I do want to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off. And ideally, if Brian Tishner will hop on, we have this designated based off of certain areas that we're going to cover. I'm going to talk about financial readiness. And here's the thing. I'll go ahead and start my timer so that I'm not accused of playing favorites. Consider this your AAR, all right? Because I have talked to hundreds and hundreds of transitioning service members, active duty veterans, where I don't care where you are in the transition process. And most of them have come back and said, Todd, I wish I would have known this. I wish I would have known that. Well, guess what? That's what I get to tell you. These folks are telling you through me This is what I wish I would have known. And one of the first things I want to tell you is don't be ashamed. Don't be intimidated. Don't be that, the one that's, I'm going to soldier on. I want to be macho, all of that about money, about finances. Why do I say that? I had a guy I talked to 2 years ago, had 2 Bitcoin. At the time, Bitcoin was $70,000 each. And he said, Todd, I do not need to talk with you because they're going to 500,000 a piece and I'm going to retire. 2 years later, they're not at 500,000. And that's not a slight on Bitcoin. It's he was so convinced that he knew everything there was to know that he didn't even want to hear another perspective. And then there's also the 30-year active duty and reservist that she came to me completely embarrassed because she said, Todd, with all of the free resources on base, all of those things, she said, I don't know how to handle my credit cards. And she was so embarrassed that she allowed that to, instead of asking for help or asking for assistance, she was embarrassed because she should know how to handle that and she didn't know how to do it. If you allow that to influence your conversations about money, you will never get to the place where you could be if you would just go ahead and ask for help. Second thing, make financial readiness as big a part of your transition plan as getting a job, as where you're going to do your final move, your final PCS. Do not sit back and say, oh, that will figure itself out. I'm still a minister, but in my former life, that's what I did full time. And one of the biggest causes of divorce, and we all know military has its own stresses that puts on marriages. The biggest causes of divorce is money. And yet when it comes to transition, that's the thing that you don't plan. So plan it, make it a part of your plan. Number 3, do not take the advice about emergency fund for granted. I have never, in all of my conversations, had people come back to me and say, Todd, I saved way too much money. I literally had no idea what to do with it. I just went out and started throwing it out to the people in my neighborhood because I had so much money left over. Never. It's always, Todd, what was I thinking? I didn't save enough. So always overestimate what it's going to cost you and always overestimate how much you need in your emergency fund. VGLI, SGLI, VGLI, if you're in your BDD process or your VA eval process, you may very well be too late to make the decision, and the decision may already be made for you. Make sure that if you think that you want to apply for some type of life insurance outside of VGLI, that you understand there is a timing, because you start putting in your VA records, those will most likely disqualify you from getting private life insurance. VGLI is great for what it is, but it can get awfully expensive awfully quick. SBP, again, don't take your buddy's word for it or your CO's word for it. Run the numbers yourself. Survivor benefit plan is a great plan, but it also has some drawbacks. And it's literally a multi-$1,000 check in the box. Did you opt out of SBP? Check in the box. It's literally thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but people don't realize it. And that brings me to the last part, because I am about ready to be done. When it comes to TSP, when it comes to taxation, your first year out, I have somebody that went to work for AWS. They've got their pension, they've got 100% VA, and they're making close to $300,000 now this year. Guess what? When it comes to their VA pension, they were withholding like 10%. They're going to get a multi-$1,000 tax bill next year that they weren't anticipating. Why? Because they didn't talk to somebody about what does it look like when it comes to taxation. Those are some reasons why you might want to reach out to somebody like me. If I can help you, link up with me. I'm going to put my LinkedIn in the chat. And Dave Shantz, I did it there. So there you go. All right, there we go. Now enough of running it in. I haven't seen Brian Tishner log on yet, so if he does, let me know. But we're going to go ahead and move on. I brought Keith Cassant on, and Keith, I may have butchered your last name. You tell me, but Keith just recently transitioned a couple of years ago. And he has such a tremendous heart for helping transitioning service members that he's got a lot of great tips. He's in, I believe, in the HR field. So I wanted to have him on just to say, hey, Keith, tell us what we need to know when it comes to, especially a couple years out. What do we need to know about transition?
Sure. So thank you so much for having me. I'll try to keep everything 5 minutes. You'll cut me off if I don't. This is my first time. So yeah, I'm honored to be here. So yeah, I was like, what am I going to talk about? I got all these SMEs and these amazing people I'm presenting with, and I don't know what in the world I could bring to the possible table. So I decided I'm your why guy. I'm here to tell you why you're here and why you want to listen to every single one of these people, right? So prepare to take notes. I'm going to throw a lot of things at you, okay? All of you are probably in different stages of transition, so I get that. I have to try to make this as palatable to the masses as I can. So maybe you'll know some of the stuff I'm talking about. Maybe it'll apply. Maybe you haven't heard it yet. So the first thing I want to do is give you some tough love. I'm going to rip some band-aids off. And again, this is just general speaking. There are rules to be broken here and exceptions to every rule I'm about to say. But I do want to just give some hard truths and some tough love real quick. So, the first one is I want to manage expectations. You're going to fail. You are going to fail in your transition. Your first resume review is going to be butchered and your spirit's going to be broken and you're going to want to quit right then and there. Or maybe your first application is going to fall on deaf ears and you're not going to hear anything back. Or maybe even your first job interview isn't going to go as well as you would hope. It's going to happen. I'm not saying all three is going to happen. Let's hope that that's not the case. But one of those things or maybe something else is going to happen. Prepare for it now, right? I used to train, well, I still do train hand-to-hand combat. We always tell people, you get a knife fight, prepare to be cut. Because if you're not prepared for it, it's going to put you into shock when you do get cut, because you're going to get cut. So you're going to fail. It's okay. Just dust yourself off and keep going. The next thing, the next Band-Aid I want to rip off is most of you are going to take a pay cut. Todd was talking about the finance piece. That's so important. It's just the reality of what it is. So many of us veterans, especially if we're doing a complete career transition like I did not do HR in the Army. And I'm finding, I completely had to reinvent myself and into the HR field. So I had to take a pay cut. A lot of us do. It's okay. Depending on which statistics you read, the average veteran has 3 to 5 jobs in the first 4 to 6 years. And that's often given with a negative connotation. I don't think it's negative at all. I think a lot of it is we have to take those pay cuts. We have to take those slightly more entry-level jobs. But as soon as we get our foot in the door and our rubber meets the road, we take off. And that's where those 4 to 6 jobs or 3 to 5 jobs in 4 to 6 years are coming from. There's also no such thing as the perfect job. Let's rip that Band-Aid off. Stop looking for the perfect job. There's 5 things to love about a job, and I'm going to give them to you. So I hope you're writing down. The first thing is the money, of course, right? That includes benefits. The next is the location, the people, the hours, and the work itself. The people, that speaks to the culture, okay? The hours, flexible schedule, things like that, location, remote, or wherever it might be, all right? Of those 5 things, pick 3. Can't have all 5. I have yet to meet anybody that has all 5. But if you can, statistically speaking, if you can find 3 out of the 5, you're going to be very happy in that job. I have 4 out of the 5 and I'm ecstatic with where I'm at. So those are the 5 things to love. I'm actually going to come back to that in just a second. So now, some of you may be doing a career transition. Some of you may be like me. You put all maybe you put all your eggs in one basket and that basket broke because I thought I was going law enforcement and that basket shattered on me and I was left figuring out what I wanted to be when I grew up all over again. So I will just say this, figure out what you want to be. There's so many of us veterans, when we come out, we're shooting at everything that moves, right? I came out, I was like, okay, I can't go law enforcement. I got medically disqualified, so I can still do physical security. Oh yeah, but I was also an instructor for 6 years and I love being an instructor in front of a classroom. And oh yeah, I also love doing, I'm drawing a blank on what my third thing was. Oh, I was a leadership consultant for a while. Love doing that, right? So I was looking at all these different industries and I was trying to break into one of them, spinning my wheels, narrow it down. So I'm gonna give you some Army folks, some BRN terminology. Tighten your shot group, right? Focus in on one specific industry, if you can, one specific role, and run with it. Trying for all these different industries, I get it. The military makes us jacks of all trades. It's phenomenal at doing that, all right? But the military, or the civilian world, doesn't hire jacks of all trades. So hone in on a specific industry, even more so a specific role, and run with it. Run towards it with everything you've got. Right. Networking. So again, statistics, I'm big on statistics. 70 to 85% of all jobs are gotten through networking. Networking is so critical, but nobody really tells you what it is. Networking, this is networking, right? Some of you are going to network with me. I'm going to drop my LinkedIn chat at the end, or LinkedIn URL at the end of this. Reach out to me. Just, getting to know somebody. Networking is just relationship. It's just having a couple chats with folks, right? It's not this mystical secret thing where you got to, have all these, tips and tricks and that. Just reach out to folks and talk to them. You're networking. And oh yeah, by the way, you already have a network. Whether you did 4 years or you did 22 years like me, you've got a network that you're coming out of. The statistic I gave you, right? I fall within that. I'm on job number 4. I've only been retired 3 years. I'm on job number 4, and 3 of my 4 I got through networking. 2 of those 3 that I got through networking, 2 of them were from my past. They were prior Army buddies that preceded me. And I got 30 seconds left. So all that to say, networking is absolutely critical, but it's not as hard as a lot of people make it out to be. Now for the good news. Okay, there's 3 things to be a successful transitioner. Don't give up. Find a mentor. Find 10. Okay, and leverage every single resource. That third part, you're doing it right now. You're leveraging your resources. Every single one of these other people that are talking to you today, they're your resources. I'm just your friendly neighborhood, freelance mentor, if you will. And I'm happy to chat with you offline. But these folks, all these other folks, these are your resources. They're valuable. I've leveraged some of them myself, and I give back. I'm a volunteer with a few of them, with ACP and IVMF. So they're amazing resources. Listen to everything they have to say. The best of luck in all your transitions. And again, I'll drop my LinkedIn in there and reach out to me.
Keith, thank you, man. We really appreciate that. Lots of positive reactions, because I think folks realize the value of the wisdom you just imparted. So here's the thing. We're going to have a Q&A at the end, but there are 45,000 nonprofit, in my understanding, is organizations just to help transitioning service members. How do you filter through them? That's what we're trying to do. So today, this next group of people that we're going to have talk, they have resources. Their organizations are meant to help you in your transition. So the first one that I want to have speak is on, and Banal, you're going to have to correct my pronunciation. I apologize. But Act Now is a fantastic organization. I think she's VP. She's, she is the person. And tell us what you want us to know about Act Now.
Absolutely. So again, my name is Banal Patel. I am the VP for Act Now Education. Now, Act Now stands for Apprenticeship, Certification, and Training. And like Todd said, there's about 45,000 different organizations out there. Some of them are here right now, whose sole purpose is to help service member transition and find their purposes when we leave the military. And I've used about, maybe I would say 30,000, not really, but it felt like it as I was transitioning out. ACP was one of them. Dave was definitely one of them, as I was trying to find my own purpose. And I felt so lost when I was transitioning. And I was so excited that when I found Act Now Education, because our whole purpose in life was to get all these resources and put them in one place. And because when you are transitioning, like Todd said earlier, there's so much out there that you get bombarded with information. And when you have so much coming at you, you don't know what your purpose is. You don't know what direction you want to go to. If you want to pivot your career from HR to IT, you don't know what resources you need to go to. There's like O'Reilly out there that is free for military that we didn't even know. Coursera is giving out free courses for you to educate yourself, things like that. So what we do is we actually go out there and meet with companies trying to find free resources that can help not only military transitioning members, active duty, military spouses, veterans, reservists, anything we can get all these organizations to come help us with, we try to get that. Right now, we just finished up, we call it the three cert cohort. Basically, we were able to educate 30 members of our community with Security Plus, with Project Plus, and also get their PSM course. So they were all able to go through a cohort together for 4 weeks and acquire all these certifications for free. That is like the whole purpose that we exist, is to make sure that we're educating each of our service members and military spouses, veterans, each of them for free. So if you guys are interested, we'll definitely do a Saturday orientation where we educate every one of our members on what resources are out there and how each of those resources can help you either get education, either get your business planning, certification, apprenticeship, what kind of training, and transitioning or retiring or any of those that is available for us. So that's it.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And you've got a big Facebook group and all kinds of things, right? Act Now
We
Facebook.
have 50,000 members, and we are always growing on like daily basis. So that's like majority of our, is what you might call it. Majority of our members is joined by, word of mouth, basically. So yes.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good for you. All right. So Tom Gill, Boots to Books is relatively new. My understanding is on the whole transition help space, but doing great things. What do we need to know about Boots to Books?
All right, like you said, I'm Tom Gill. I'm a Coast Guard veteran, and there we go. Now we're sharing. All right, so I'm a Coast Guard veteran and Chief Operating Officer for Boots to Books. I'm going to talk a little bit about what we do and how we help vets, members of the National Guard, reservists, dependents with education and employment. First is a brief history. We're founded in 2020. We got our 501c3 status March of 2021. And from there, in September of that year, we had our first hiring fair. That fair had Amazon and 16 other companies like Oracle and Accenture, and it was a fantastic event. Come June of the next year, we partnered with the U.S. Army Reserve through the public-private program. And in October of 2022, we had our largest hiring fair to date with 18 companies and over 600 attendees. Now, fast forward to this year, we're currently sitting at 58 active certification students who are paying for their certifications and planning some of our biggest events yet. So for a newer organization, less than just about 2 years old, we've been able to have a really big impact through innovation and being adaptive so far. Our strategy is a 4-part one, and we do this every quarter. So we start off with career days and QA type events. The goal of these is to let people learn about different routes and steps for success so they can begin backwards planning their transition. For example, February 3rd, we had our first career day with 10 different speakers addressing a wide array of different backgrounds and careers. The goal is to give a realistic look into different careers that are available outside of the military, using what they saw. Hopefully our attendees can identify what their target is during their transition. This will lead you to step 2, where we have a variety of education and training options. Whether it be a professional certification obtained through our periodic applications or help you with your higher education, we have a lot of different options here. We cover textbooks, we help with test preparation, we even help with applications. Now, we have paid for all these types of things. It's on a first come, first served basis type of deal. You apply during the certain time zones and then we adjust. But all of this comes before the part 3 of this, where we do a specialized event where there's opportunities to get feedback from career coaches, from recruiters, individuals in your desired industry. People like Lori come on and help you with your resumes at times. So these are the hiring opportunities, or this is the lead up to the hiring opportunities, sorry. The hiring fairs are virtual. They're limited to the military community, and that's what's really special about them is most of the recruiters that come are from the military community themselves. So it's not like you're submitting your resume and never hearing anything. You actually get actionable feedback right there from the recruiters and hiring managers and get to talk about what open roles are available and what suits your skill set. So there are 3 primary areas that we focus on, education, our monthly events, and hiring opportunities. Education is our split into 2 blocks. Firstly, being higher education. So that's assistance of making a degree plan. If you're going to apply for a school, we can help with that application and those application fees. We can also help paying for textbooks, like I mentioned earlier. We opened up application events to pay for textbooks at the beginning of each and every semester since we've been founded, and have yet to not give someone that applied at least some form of assistance. And when you're looking at graduate school, if you're looking to take the LSAT, GRE, GMAT, we can actually help you fund those test preparations as well. Next phase is, our next side of that is the professional certifications. And 4 times a year, we open up applications to pay for certification courses or certification tests. So anything from a Lean Six Sigma cert to CompTIA, we have a list of common ones that you can apply for, but you can also apply for just pretty much anything you want, as long as you explain how it's going to help you, and it's got a $1,000 cap limit. We normally give about 10 of those out. So provide the link and we'll get you in your career. We'll help you forward to your career goal. Sorry, this 5-minute timer is getting me a little tongue-tied. So the goal is to provide the technical upskilling and hard backing on your resume that any recruiter can recognize, whether they've dealt with the military or not. This moves us to our next phase, the monthly events. So these events really range from recruiter roundtables all the way to career days. And so what these events are is a chance to get realistic insights into different careers, get good actionable advice, and build your network. The events will let you continue to work on that backwards plan that I spoke of earlier, designed to help you find that role that you want, and also talk to the people in hiring positions like recruiters and hiring managers to hear what they are actually looking for in a candidate when you meet with them. These events are always free, and they're designed to be a very conversational type of meeting. So some examples of our past events: we've had resume reviews, career expos, and recruiter roundtables, all of which are completely free and have welcomed about 100 people per event so far. Great aspect of these events is that we take people's questions throughout the event. So if there's something that you have been really hung up on or don't understand, we can get that answer in real time right there on the spot. Our next big thing is employment opportunities. So the big bubble represents the biggest impact that we have here, which is the hiring fairs. We regularly have hiring fairs, and they're limited to military community. We've had companies like Amazon and Accenture, Oracle, Raytheon as well, all the way down to new exciting startups. These events are conducted virtually through some innovative platforms. The next one's going to be hosted on Zoom events. And this platform lets you visit actual virtual booths and have live conversations with recruiters and apply for roles right there on event day. These are some of the nation's best companies who are really coming in with the goal to hire from the military community. They are completely free as well. And a lot of time they end up featuring some pretty cool giveaways that we do on the spot. We're announcing our next event very soon. Next up, we have newsletters and periodic connections. Every month we publish a newsletter.
And Tom, I am going to say, can you about 10 more seconds, because we do need to move on. I apologize.
Yep, that's fine. So we have a newsletter you can sign up for, and I'll drop that link in the chat. And the next thing that we had was just some good stuff, and then how to find us. And I'll wrap it up there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I know this 5-minute thing is new for you, for a lot of people, and I love to see you squirm to get through it. So I think that's just.
Sorry, I couldn't see you give the timer, so thanks for speaking up.
No problem. All right. So we have, I'm not even going to try to say it all because it's there's a lot going on, but IVMF, Anna Blanche Rabe is with us today. Anna, tell us what's going on with IVMF. And tell us what IVMF stands for.
Sure. So I'm going to share my slides right now. So IVMF is, hang on just a second.
There we go.
So the Danello Institute for Veterans and Military Families at Syracuse University is who I'm with today. And trying to talk about this in 5 minutes is a particular challenge, like for many of the other participants. But IVMF has been doing this kind of work through the university as an institute since 2011, but the university itself has been committed to military families and service members since the end of World War II. I mean, we have some pretty extraordinary stories about before the GI Bill even existed, Syracuse University was one of the universities that said, hey, we want to give every veteran who wants an education a free university education. So I want to share with you very briefly what we do. That includes, we have 5 pillars of work. which I have there on the screen, including career training, entrepreneurship, community services, research and analytics, and higher education. I'm not going to talk about all of those today. I work in the entrepreneurship portfolio, and I have one of my colleagues who is on the call today, Karen Francis, who is with our career training arm. And so I'll mention a little bit of the work that our Onward to Opportunity team particularly does as part of this. So we've been doing this work for a number of times. We're not, even though we're based in Syracuse, New York, I'm in Washington, DC. We have teammates all across the country and around the world. In fact, I started working with IVMF while we were stationed in Germany. So I am currently an active duty spouse. I'm also an Australian Army veteran. My husband's in the Air Force, and we've moved around a little bit, and IVMF's work extends to many of the places that we've served as well. So on the screen right now, you see a number of our Onward to Opportunity programs, and this is going to be our career preparation program. I'm going to not do this justice, and hopefully in a future attempt, Karen will be able to talk about this further, but this is just some of the 40+ professional certifications that our Onward to Opportunity program offers, in addition to doing this via cohorts. And so those cohorts are kind of regionally and locally based with our team members that are around the country. And there's also a virtual cohort as well that operates. As I said, this is actually not even the most recent version of the certifications that are offered. Now, my big tip today is you've heard that a number of organizations offer different types of certifications. My tip is that you sit down and map out the ones you're interested in, because you may be able to create a situation for yourself where you work with one organization on one certification and a different organization on another, depending on their eligibility requirements and availability. We also do some community service work. And so if you are working with an organization that you feel could benefit from some military cultural proficiency training, please reach out. This is something IVMF does extensively. I'm going to skip the research, but we do a significant amount of research and data. And so depending on the environment that you're in, we could be a resource for that as well. We also do offer specific higher education programs, including one on politics and civic engagement. Okay, so I work in the entrepreneurship portfolio, and that means if you have a vague notion that you might want to start a business, we absolutely have a program that might be beneficial to you. So the earlier slide had our website, and I'll show you another slide with that, but we have programs at every stage of your business life cycle. We're at a point now within our military connected ecosphere for business owners that, you know, we're working with business owners who don't even know what they want to do in terms of their business, all the way through to we now sufficiently have a Veteran 100, the 100 fastest growing veteran owned businesses in the country out of the Inc. 5000. So these are a number of the programs that we offer in our entrepreneurship. We also have some networking and VetNet webinar opportunities on specific topics. We also had one on resumes this month, for example. If you are looking to connect with specific programming, we have some options through our Community Navigator pilot program. We work with partners around the country to make sure that we are offering services that are meeting you where you're at, and that we're not duplicating what is happening both in terms of government services and other nonprofits. And we're very excited to partner with other organizations. As I said, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best way, or work through the ivmf.syracuse.edu website.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the best tips I've heard in a while, is utilizing these different organizations possibly for different certifications. Yeah. I think that's great, and it really speaks to why we have these organizations on here, because nobody gets frustrated about, oh, well, you're doing what we're doing, and everybody's here to try to help. And so great.
Yeah. Great. We don't see each other as competition, right? We're all serving different parts of the community. Karen just threw in the O2O program getting started page for anyone who's particularly interested in that. But yeah, this is, you know, we try to work together too, because our community is diverse and it's large, and we are located everywhere. So if we don't work together, there will be people who fall through the cracks, and we don't want that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so if you do have questions, we will have a Q&A at the end. And happy to host that. Okay, 4 block. Lots of people have heard about it. lots of more people need to know about it. So Eric Stetson, we've got him on. Appreciate you joining. Eric, tell us about 4 Block.
Hey, thanks, Todd, for bringing me on, and thanks for all the other leaders that are on talking to veterans, about the support services, and some great tips right there about utilizing multiple organizations. At 4 Block, we recommend people all the time to IVMF, ACP, and Veterati to develop mentors, the Commit Foundation to go through their program. And so figuring out, for all the veterans getting ready to transition, or you're in that process now, or you're a spouse, starting to map that out, learn about the organizations, take advantage of multiple opportunities, and not just resting in one spot is probably very, very good advice. I want to go back to something that Keith Kassan said, starting up front with being able to narrow your shot group. It really starts in the transition process with a personal self-inventory, going back to who you are, what are your values, what are your strength roles, what do you care about, what interests and passions do you have? So you can, once you identify that, you can direct your energy in networking and learning and certification programs like IBMF and others to help you into that transition into that new career as you redefine what you're going to do going forward. And that will enhance your ability to get started in the right direction right off the bat versus just going out there, grabbing a job and then being unsettled and have to figure out the next job. So this is something that we really emphasize at 4 Block right up front in the beginning of our program. And I thought that was fantastic advice. The other thing I want all veterans and spouses to know is, regardless of your service and your experience in the service, whether you're still in it or you're out, on the outside, the veteran network is incredibly powerful, and nobody cares what branch of service or what your rank was or what you did. We're here to help each other, and we want you to succeed. So please, please, please stay plugged in with your veteran community, local and national, and take advantage of building those relationships to learn from those people around you. 4 Block is a not-for-profit, obviously, veteran support organization, been around about 13, 14 years, 11 formally as a 501c3. Not-for-profit. I'll show a couple slides to talk to specifically what we do, and try and beat the clock on the 5 minutes challenge I always have. So here we go. Next slide. So that's our mission. Equipping veterans and military spouses to successfully transition into meaningful civilian careers. We want to help you find the right spot. We believe that if you put the right energy into the process, you can find the right job in the right career in the right location for the right pay with the right culture with the ability to grow in that organization. And that's why we're pretty proud that our retention rate for our veterans in their first position after our program is about 26 points above the national average. We invest a lot of time in that aspect of the program. So there's the vision. We're building a national network. We're connecting people all over the nation with each other, with organizations. We're taking these talented veterans, developing them, and sticking them into great Fortune 500, Fortune 100, and other companies to kind of infuse our veteran leadership everywhere, and then have those veterans come back and coach in the program and just keep it moving forward. Here are our locations right now. The blue are the in-person locations, and then you see the virtual programs that we have around the country and the career readiness program for veterans. And we're expanding. We anticipate almost doubling in the next 2 years. And so I'm personally, as the Director of Engagement and Enrollment, working with student veterans and SVA across the United States to get the word to all student veterans about this program for career preparation, which is for active duty members within 2 years, a year and a half of getting off of active duty, guardsmen, reservists, student veterans, rank immaterial, as long as you have an honorable discharge, you're a post 9/11 veteran, and you're pursuing a college education or have a college education, you qualify for our programs. And we're looking in the future at other certifications outside of college for professionals to be eligible for the program as well. So that's in evolution right now. So the Career Readiness Program is our mainstay. It's what Mike Abrams built about 13, 14 years ago. And really it's about meeting veterans and non-veterans at companies and building relationships, learning about different career fields, and learning essential career building skills while you're going through the program so you can find the right career and having a great network. I've started telling veterans, stop applying for jobs. Stop applying for jobs. start applying for people and relationships, and the right jobs and the right careers will come to you versus throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what's going to stick. So there's a couple of bullets on what veterans enjoy coming out of the program. Also want to talk about finding your calling. Like we talked up front, this is an online program that anyone can take anywhere. Check out our website for it. We have a podcast with 50,000 subscribers as well. I'm almost done. So check out the podcast for some great learning. And there's the QR code and to apply today for the QR code. So I'm happy to talk about the program with anyone, answer more questions, and share about the program. So thanks. And we even have a couple of alumni on here like Banal Patel. So good to see you.
Eric, thank you so much. Last, certainly not least, we have Leslie Coffey, representing American Corporate Partners. Fantastic organization. Leslie, what do you want us to know about it?
Let me find my mute first. So first of all, I really want to double down, triple down, foot stomp what Anna was saying is that please don't think you have to select just one of these organizations. We hear it all the time, and know that we're all partners. We're all working with this in concert together, and we work together for no other reason than to see you succeed. So just know that's what we're here for. We're very passionate. We're all military connected. So my name is Leslie Coffey. I'm the VP of Military Engagement for ACP, and like other members on the call, I'm a card member as well. I'm kind of like the hair club for men guy. They said we're not just the vice president, but also a member. I'm an alumni. I came through in 2018 when we were stationed in the middle of Mojave Desert when remote work wasn't big, and a lot of never been stationed at the National Training Center. I can tell you there's not a lot of bustling opportunities out there. But the result of my mentorship was a 67% increase in pay, which is exactly years later why I joined the team, because I just see this as a gift to give the community I've been a part of for almost 27 years now. So what we are is we are a completely free nationwide nonprofit, and we focus on one thing, and that is customized mentorships. So we pair you on a one-to-one basis, customized based on what your unique journey is. We recognize everyone is different in their season of life, is different in their journey. And so we take all of that into account. Also, everyone has different goals. We currently have 4,700 in the program right now, and over 26,000 have come through and are alumni like myself and others on the call today. 98% would refer us to another veteran or spouse, but I really want you to focus on the customization, because really that's the magic of it. When we go through to identify who we think is a great fit mentor, it is all a human-driven process. It's hand-selected. It's not any kind of AI or Match.com. It takes a lot of research, and we get you on the phone. We're listening to what your goals are, what your needs are, what you're looking for. And then once we identify who we think is a great fit for you, it's not supply, we're not CF, we're not issuing you a mentor. It's completely your call. You have the freedom, you fought for the freedom to be able to choose. So you let us know if you want us to go back to the drawing board. Now, 80% of our mentors come from these logos that you see here. These are more than 120 partner companies that we have where our mentors come from. An additional 20% of our mentors may be entrepreneurs, they may be civil servants, they may be healthcare, higher education, social workers. So they don't necessarily have to be corporate. If you're not interested in white collar corporate, that's okay. Don't self-select out of a mentorship. We have plenty that are not in that space. But just to let you know, we show this to show that our mentors are vetted. They go through orientation, they have a handbook, and they have an assigned point of contact at ACP that's there every step of the way. These are primary areas of expertise, but I tell you, we just had somebody launch a farm with his mentor, and then we had a spouse get a zoologist. So don't self-select out. Give us a challenge if you want, if you have a niche type of position, let us know. Excuse me, we're happy to go on the hunt for you. Who's all eligible, all active duty, anybody, all branches of service, Coast Guard, National Guard, Reserve, Space Force, you name it. Anybody that has served at least 180 days post 9/11. So even if they got out 20 years ago, happy to help. Any of our active duty military spouses, surviving spouses, Gold Star spouses, and spouses of disabled post 9/11 veterans are also eligible. This just gives a quick breakdown to show you don't have to have a degree. 40% of those in our program do not have a degree. 77% are enlisted. So please, again, don't self-select out just because you hear the word corporate. That's all. Let's get to the success real quick. What we focus on, just like Eric was saying, meaningful employment. There's a reason that's in red with the corresponding circle down there at the bottom right. We want to make sure that you only transition, you transition that one time. You find, with the help of the mentor, the right culture, the right career path at the right level. Love to give myself and my staff all the credit, but really it's the mentor helping to identify those things. So that's why a year later, 85% were still in that same position. Gotcha, Todd. 93,000 was the average starting salary. So last thing I will share. This is kind of the process. You can find it on our website. This is our website, acp-usa.org. And watch us on LinkedIn Live. Follow ACP on LinkedIn, because all of those logos that you saw, we host them twice a week. And they talk about their culture, how to get hired. They share a direct email. They share their direct LinkedIn, so you don't have to go to their website. And then you can just learn, for example, with Unilever, you could be director of ice cream planning and taste Ben and Jerry's every day, like before it hits the store shelf. So who wouldn't want that job, right?
That's all. I think that was so great. Don't ever self-select out. Excellent point. And we're going to move on to our next one. And I will say that to the presenters, you know how there's always somebody that decides they're going to show up late and yet still thinks that they need to be a part of it. I'm not going to say who it is, but the presenters that were supposed to go, I want you to know that Brian Tishner is on the line, and really appreciate him. Thanks, Brian. No, Brian's a great guy. 28-year, I believe, Air Force, if I remember, has lots of great things to share on VA home loans. So, Brian, welcome. Tell us what we need to know, and is the interest rate level ever going to come down?
I'll get to that. There you go. Good question. Todd, thanks for the intro. I appreciate that. Yeah, 28 years in the Air Force for me. I spent 14 of those 28 years as a teacher. My last 14 actually taught at a ton of different schools for the military, and I have a teacher's heart. I love helping people understand things better. So here you go, real quick, everything you wanted to know about VA loans in 5 minutes or less. And of course, really what this is a super quick primer. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to have a conversation with you and do my best to help guide you through VA loans. But of course, one of the primary benefits is there's generally no down payment needed. You can borrow 100%. Of course, the house must appraise for that amount. So if the house happens to appraise for more, then you might have to bring that money to the table. But being able to get a loan for 100% is an amazing thing, and not having to put a down payment is super huge. Generally need around a 620 credit score, but that depends on the lender. So that's kind of lender specific. So shop around for that. One of the other benefits that go with 100% down is you don't need to pay for any private mortgage insurance, which of course can be very expensive with conventional loans if you don't have 20% down. And so the VA is an awesome deal for that. Often VA loans have better rates. Folks don't necessarily know or understand that, or they're told otherwise from different lenders or from different realtors or whatever. In my experience, VA rates are just as competitive and often better. VA funding fee can be waived with a disability rating. So I'm sure somebody already talked about disability, getting your disability rating. Even if you get a rating of 10%, I've heard of ratings of 0. I don't know if that really happens, but even if you get a super small rating, that means you waive the VA funding fee. So that's a huge amount of money for every house you're going to buy for the rest of your life that you don't have to pay that VA funding fee. So definitely fight for your, the rights you earned, the benefits you've earned in that getting that disability rating. Other things to consider as you're getting ready to separate or retire. Are you going to stay in the area, or are you going to move somewhere else? Of course, any VA loan you're going to use has to be purchased for a primary residence. Sometimes you can do that up to a year out, even in a location where you don't currently live, but those can be a little bit of a challenge. So if you know you're staying in the area, it might be worth considering buying while you still have all your income before the retiree date on your LES changes. So you can count all that income, of course. It can be difficult for banks to prove how much you're going to make, or for you to prove to the bank how much you'll be making after you retire. So that's a little bit of a challenge with that. Along those lines, if you have a job offer already, banks can consider how much that, that job offer, if it's an unconditional job offer. But that terminology unconditional might be, it must be in there. If it says anything about contingent upon getting a security clearance or contingent upon this or that, then the banks probably won't be able to count that income. So it can be a little bit of a challenge. A lot of folks think if they already have one VA loan, they won't be able to get a second VA loan if they kept that previous house with that VA loan. Say they're renting it out, or they want to rent it out or something like that. That's simply not true. The conforming loan limit now is up to 726,200. So that if you already have a loan, you can go in addition up to that. So if you have a $300,000 VA loan, you still have $426,200 available to you to buy on a home. If you need to go over that new amount, then you can do that, but you need to bring 25% of the difference in down payment. Again, this is too much for me to go over in one shot, but if you have questions on anything you're saying, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to answer those questions. If you have no entitlement used, technically there's no entitlement. I know a veteran who had his VA entitlement completely cleared, that bought a $1.75 million house, 100% loan, no money down. Pretty cool deal. You have to qualify for the loan, of course. You have to prove that you're justified and can make those payments. That's a different story. But if you have no entitlement used, then you have, unlimited entitlement available to you, technically, whatever you can qualify for. Refinances real quick. Obviously, this is probably not the environment to be looking at refinances because rates are still up a little bit. But the low VA funding fee, again, waived with a disability rating, is pretty low on what they call IRRLs, interest rate reduction refinance loan. The VA loves their alliteration and their acronyms just like the military does. So those will help you potentially lower interest rates. Thanks, Todd. Cash out refinances, you can go up to 90% of the loan if you happen to need that money for something else, do a remodel or kids' college or something like that. Some other common misconceptions: some people think they must be single family homes. That's not true. If you want to buy, a fourplex, as long as you're willing to live in one of those units in the fourplex, then you could rent the other three out to help make all the payments on that. So I've known some folks who have built some pretty good equity in places doing that in my time. Those are probably about the main things. As opposed to interest rates, they're still, reasonably up there in the sixes. Some folks are talking about getting down to the mid fives this year, but those same people will also admit that their crystal ball broke a long time ago, same as mine did, and trying to figure out what's really going to happen in the industry out there. But some of it's a little bit of perspective. Remember, 6%, our parents probably had 14% loans, or even I've heard stories of 18% loans. So 6% comparatively, isn't horrible. Is it, 2.5% like we had 2 years ago? Well, that's fair. I get that. It definitely makes a difference on your payment. But certainly there's options out there for that. So again, I have a teacher's heart. I'd love to help. If you have questions, if you're working with a lender and you're not sure they're treating you right or something like that, and you just want to get a good, fuzzy feeling that you're doing the right thing. One of the things I do tell folks, make sure you're not paying super high fees. There's almost no reason to pay an origination fee. A few lender fees to the tune of about $1,000 are reasonable, but anybody who's charging you a full percent origination, you need to shop around and see if you can find a better lender who's not charging you those. And then some banks out there will even waive their lender fees for VA loans. So make sure you're working with a company that's reputable and going to do the right things for veterans. And the first one that comes up when you Google might not be the right one you want to work with, because there's probably an origination fee there. So check around, shop around, doesn't hurt. And again, happy to answer questions if you have any. Brian Titchener, happy to help.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it. Hey, these next three are going to be along the lines of, if you need resume help, if you need recruiting tips, that's what they're here to talk about. Lori Norris has a fantastic podcast, if you've not checked it out, or webcast, or whatever they're called, but Lessons Learned for Vets. I think you're on your third year, something along those lines. So lots of great information she puts out. Lori, tell us what we need to know when it comes to resumes, recruiting, all of that information.
Well, thanks, Todd. So as you said, my name's Lori Norris. I'm a bilingual translator. I don't speak a foreign language, but I speak the language of the military. And since 2005, I've been educating veterans in how to translate their military skills into marketable presentations that get them jobs. And so I used to teach the TAP program. And so when I left teaching that program, I used to be a volunteer. And so when I could no longer volunteer with them, I looked for a way that I could continue serving this community. And so when Todd invited me to speak today, he challenged me to pack everything I know about military transition into 5 minutes, which isn't possible. And thank you, Tom, for being the first that had to get pulled off with a hook, so I don't have to be first. But I have packed a lot of what I know into 100+ episodes of the podcast. And I know you can learn so much about the resume, interview preparation, the job search, LinkedIn, networking, and more there. So on the show, I interview veterans who've made the transition, whether it was a month ago or 30 years ago, and they share their struggles, their stumbles, their keys to success. And I'm a big believer that if someone has gone through an experience similar to yours, it's in your best interest to listen to how they did it, so you can make informed decisions about how you're going to navigate that same path. So everyone's transition is different and as unique as you are as an individual. And I know I can't eliminate all of your struggles, but I want to at least inform you and educate you. I kind of see us as like that curvy road ahead sign to help keep you informed. So I have about 3 minutes-ish left maybe. So I want to spend the rest of my time today talking about a subject that I focus on a lot because nobody's really talking about it. It's kind of boring, let's be honest. It's resume writing, right? Nobody wants to talk about resumes any more than they want to talk about taxes. But I just want to clear up a couple of resume myths for you. So first of all, the resume is not the most important thing in your transition. Everybody thinks like first thing, oh, I got to get my resume done. That is not the first thing you need to do. It's not even the most important. It's not the first thing you need to do. It is important, but if you put all of your efforts into your resume and you don't practice interviewing and you don't build a network, and my video is freaking out, and you don't have a LinkedIn profile, then you are not going to be as successful, right? So if only great resumes got jobs, we would have like a 75% unemployment rate out there because bad resumes still get jobs. However, a well-written, translated, focused resume will expedite your job search. So let's talk a little bit about what that means. Like in TAP, they teach you to write a master resume. Boy, I wish we could get rid of that practice. A master resume is not good for anything but storing information. It should never see the light of day and shouldn't be sent to anybody. Instead, I want you to think of your resume as a strategic marketing document, and you are the product. The best marketing campaigns don't focus on the product, but they focus on the value the customer gets from using the product. So you have to do the same thing. The resume is not about you. It's not about your skills. It's not about your experience. It's about how you can help the employer. It's about the employer's needs. It's about how you can add value. Employers want to know about your return on investment that you can offer them. What's in it for them? So that's really what you need to focus on. So employers hire because they have a need to fill or a problem to solve. So once you conduct that analysis and figure out what are their needs, what are their problems, you can target your approach. There is no such thing as an effective generic resume. You don't want to come across as a jack of all trades because what comes next, right? Master of none. You don't want to say, I specialize in nothing. I am really good at everything. Most people do not really want Swiss Army knives in their toolbox. So they do not drive hammers. I'm sorry, they do not drive nails very well. So again, we want to make sure that we are showing them that we are the tool that they need to solve their problems, to fulfill their needs. So again, we want to have targeted, focused approach. So your very first step in your military transition needs to be figuring out what do you want to do next. Notice I did not say figuring out what you want to do forever. I said next, right? So the average adult is going to change careers 7 to 9 times. For those of you that have served, you've probably already changed 3 to 4. That just means you have, anywhere from 3 to 5 more in the rest of your career. So I cannot do this in 5 minutes, Todd, you know that, but I want to promise you that on the podcast, I do not talk this because I have more than 5 minutes and nobody's holding a timer when I talk. But please come listen. I promise if you are in the midst of a transition or you've already gone through your transition and maybe it was a struggle, give the show a listen, and I promise we're there to help you. So thanks for having me.
Lori, you just taught me why it took me so long to get a job, because I was using my resume to tell them about me, and apparently that's all wrong. So great information, though. Really great. Lucas Conley is here with us from Recruit Military. Lucas and I were just on a Recruit Military Live podcast. He threw me all kinds of curveballs. He was really mean to me. I'm still having a hard time getting past it. But Recruit Military is a great organization. So Lucas, tell us about it.
And Todd was coming back out off the ropes like Muhammad Ali with Sonny Liston. I mean, he was floating like a butterfly and thinking about, I am not going to need 5 minutes to tell you very simple things to all you folks that are out there that are transitioning out of the military. Pay attention. All right. I'll tell you, like my drill sergeant used to tell me, pay attention. Here, I'm about to drop a bomb on you. Here it comes. You need a job. We have jobs. I will repeat myself. You need a job. We have jobs. Allow me to demonstrate. To my right, your right. The www.recruitmilitary.com website. As of today, 318,783 jobs. 12,648 of those jobs were added to the board today. 6,167,750 job seeker profile views. Okay, that is employers who are looking for someone and who have arrived at a Recruit Military profile associated with someone like you. 1,656 of those occurred today. Right now, 1,603,750 job seekers in our network. If you are not one of those people, you should be. All right. If you're a job seeker, you click the button. You say where you want to go. Let's see. I want to do IT, and I want to live in San Francisco. Right? Why? I don't know. Why not? And I got 3,059 jobs. Allow me to say that again. 3,059. Scrolling, get that money rolling, employment. It's very simple, guys. Now that that's gone to the brain housing group and had the headspace readjusted, get down to the website, go to www.recruitmilitary.com, register. Somebody from our candidate success department, all right, candidate success representative is going to call you on the phone. They are not a military recruiter trying to get you to go back in the Army. Don't hang up. They're going to say something like, hey, this is Todd from Recruit Military. And you're going to say, oh, I'm getting out of the Army. Don't tell them. And you're going to hang up. Don't hang up. They're going to walk you through 4 tasks. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tasks. All right. How to optimize your profile so it gets the most looks from the most employers and the most recruiters. The 27% complete profile is bupkis. It's no good. Right? You want 100% complete. Number 2, we're going to teach you how to upload your resume. You don't have a resume. We're going to show you the resume builder tool. You're going to hand jam all that information into the resume builder tool. And then you're going to click the little button that says, make my resume. Right? Next thing you're going to do is going to register for a job fair, because as of right now, the ratio of job fair attendees, Recruit Military job fair attendees to interviews scheduled is 1 to 1. All right. Does that mean everybody's going to get an interview? No, not necessarily. Not somebody comes in squared away, looking real professional with a great 30-second elevator pitch is going to come out of there with 3 or 4 interviews scheduled, right? He's going to be a real superstar. But the guy that shows up in the Ninja Turtles t-shirt with the cutoff shorts, he's getting nothing because he didn't listen to Lori's advice on her podcast. All right. And get ready for that. All right. Last thing they're going to do is they're going to help you where are my notes? I can't even read my own writing there. Create saved searches, right? Because nobody wants to go back and do the same searches over again. And you want those results to be proactive because we are lazy in this country. We want to be spoon-fed. Send me jobs. Send me jobs. We're going to send you jobs, okay? Delivered results through your mobile device of choice. It's that easy, okay? I'm not even going to use 5 minutes. You need a job. We have a job. And as of right now, I'm going to give away the last couple of minutes that I have to the next amazing, intelligent American who's going to do great things for you. And I'm going to use that time to take your challenge. Somebody put in that chat right now where you want to go and what you want to do. I'll do the search and I'll post the results right there.
Check you out. My
Hit
goodness.
me, challenge me right now to find you a job. I will do the search and I will post the results in the chat.
Yeah, noodles.
Namaste.
Namaste. That's awesome. Lucas, I will say that was probably the most entertaining of all of them. So I appreciate that. And lots of great information. I had no idea what that website was capable of. So excellent information. And your Recruit Military Live, lots of different information out there from Lori to you and all the podcasts. And so great stuff. Last on the resume recruiting tips, and then we got Dave who's going to talk to us about SkillBridge to round us out. But Samira seriously is with Aston Carter. I think, if I remember correctly, 2 to 3 years out, transition Navy, if I remember correctly. Tell us about what kind of tips, what does Aston Carter bring to the table?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's so great to see everybody and being able to be rejuvenated with all this great, incredible information. Todd, you were so close, but retired on Army a year and a half ago. But I appreciate that, and I know there's so many people that you contact and connect with every day. So much love always. With that, I retired from the Army a year and a half ago, and like many said, I got the job that I have because of networking, because of many of the people that are on this platform who I leaned into my network and engaged and was able to connect at a Vets to Industry networking event and resulted in me getting this job. So please, like Lori said, don't put all your emphasis on the resume. Do those other things that have the most impact in your transition. Network. So with that being said, Aston Carter, I tell people Aston Carter is probably one of the largest staffing company that you've never heard of. I've never heard of Aston Carter until I came to it, and I'm so glad that I'm part of that organization. Aston Carter, we are a global organization. We have well over 200 offices throughout the United States. We are local in Canada. We are local in overseas, and we just have a platform of opportunities. Our bread and butter is to place candidates in the organizations that we partner with. That is anywhere from your local mom and pop shop to your Fortune 500s. We partner with your Amazons, your Wells Fargo, your Navy Federal Credit Union, your BAEs. I mean, just thousands and thousands of organizations that we partner with and place candidates in those opportunities. Our industry that we specialize is our professional industry. So what does that mean for you? Those are those opportunities that specialize in your accounting, finance, governance, risk and compliance, your operations and administration, your customer service, healthcare, also in your supply and logistics, and also in the government space. So if you are looking for opportunities in that industry, then I would open an invitation for us to connect and to speak more about what those opportunities look like. For those that familiar with my transition, I am so excited to say that we have an active SkillBridge program. And what makes this so exciting for me is that I'm a product of SkillBridge, and I understand how important it is, and I recognize what it does to accelerate your transition. Our program, I tell people, if you want an internship where you just want to get the feeling of what it is, our program is not for you. We fully integrate you into our system. We treat you as if you are a full time hire. And the reason why we do that is because we don't know what we don't know leaving the military. What we think we know about the military is not at all what it is in the civilian world. So we give you real world experience. We give you access to our systems and platforms and fully integrate you into our systems. Some people love it. Some people realize this is not for them. And that's exactly the intention of why we have SkillBridge, and ensure that we provide you with the necessary tools so you know exactly what is expected of you. So when that time comes for you to accept an offer, there are no surprises. Our goal is really to ensure you, to set you up with success so that you can have those long-term opportunities with our organization. And I'm very proud about that. And I want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what's expected from them. If I was to take a few minutes and to give you some advice, I love what everyone has said so far, and I will add to so much of the interviews and the conversations that I've had with veterans and military spouses and service members transitioning throughout their different journeys is that they focus on trying to talk about everything that they've done, and they lose the essence of what they actually bring to the organization. So I tell people, take the time to focus on how you do what you do and not just focus on everything. Be intentional on how you represent yourself, and be intentional how you articulate what you can bring to that organization. Please take the time to reach out, connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. I sent my information. I love to go deeper into the industries and what we have to offer. And do not get caught up in looking for a title job. Don't get lost in just looking for jobs because of the title. You are missing out on so many opportunities. Lean in, embrace the uncomfortable, and I assure you, you will be rewarded at the end.
Excellent. Samira, thank you so much. Check out Aston Carter as well. Dave Shantz, you have been biting at the, chomping at the bit. Dude, you need to get on the lessons learned for vets. You need to get on Recruit Military Live, because they give you a lot more time. So, you know, you'd have the opportunity to actually tell us what you know. But tell us about SkillBridge. For those that after Dave, we are going to have a Q&A for the presenters. One of the things I do, 10 seconds. Why should they get in touch with you? If there's not that many questions, we'll give you every presenter a chance to take 5 or 10 seconds to tell us why they should get in touch with them. Dave, tell us about SkillBridge.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me. All right, so you may want to play this back at half speed. I'm going to try to talk real fast. What is SkillBridge? Well, I'll tell you what SkillBridge is not. It is not free labor. I can't tell you the amount of companies and service members who are using that term free labor like it's like Halloween candy, just handing it out to everybody. It is not free labor. That makes me exceptionally angry when I hear that. So what SkillBridge is a transitioning program that the DoD has that allows transitioning service members and Coast Guard the ability to take part in unpaid internships or apprenticeships with approved organizations for up to 6 months, right? Between 1 to 6 months, with the high likelihood of getting hired on at the end. That high likelihood equates to 85% or greater. So I want you to ask very pointed questions to the organizations that you're connecting with. How many service members did you bring on for SkillBridge last year? And how many of them did you offer full-time jobs to? Okay, if that number is below 85%, dig a little bit deeper, find out why. That may not be the right organization for you. Okay. All right. So best place to start is figuring out what you want to do and where you want to live. One of the other panelists said it before. You're not a jack of all trades, and we can't help you if you want to be a jack of all trades, right? I think Lori said it. Okay. I can't help a service member that said I can do anything and I'm willing to live anywhere. No company's going to be able to help you, right? We have very specific needs, and you should want to fill a very specific need. So what I want you to do is figure out what you want to do, where you want to live. Take that, what you want to do, right? Cyber analyst, project manager, and I want you to go to the SkillBridge locations page and run weekly keyword searches. The reason why I want you to do this weekly is because every Friday afternoon, the SkillBridge site is updated with new companies and existing companies who reach back to the program office and say, now I want to offer other kinds of opportunities. There are no individual SkillBridge opportunities listed anywhere on the SkillBridge site. Zero, none, nada. Okay, those are just opportunities or job families that approved companies have said we may be able to offer you these types of opportunities. But if you click the blue circle on the left of each of the line items on the SkillBridge location page, that is not a job description that you're reading. Okay, so what I want you to do, run weekly keyword searches, find who is offering the kind of opportunities that you're interested in. And I want you to connect with every single point of contact on there. I want you to learn about their company. I want you to learn about their SkillBridge program. I want you to ask those very pointed questions. You're automatically going to start ranking these companies. This company sounds amazing. That company does not. Great. So when it comes down time for you to start applying, I want you to apply to every single organization that you're still interested in. It is the worst thing for you to do to send a resume or apply to one organization or one opportunity. You don't know if I was arrested. You don't know if I'm in jail. You don't know if my girlfriend's giving birth and I'm taking paternity leave. Like, you don't, my transition timeline is not your timeline. The worst thing you can do is sit at home hoping and waiting for one recruiter to call you. Cast a wide net, send out applications and resumes to all of the opportunities, all the organizations that you're still interested in. If you apply to 10, maybe 7 of them get back to you, and maybe 4 of them give you an opportunity. And that keeps you in the driver's seat and allows you to choose which opportunity is best for you and your family. Where to find SkillBridge opportunities. So there's a SkillBridge group on LinkedIn, DoD SkillBridge Community of Practice. That's all we talk about in the group is SkillBridge. If I was ready for it, I should have been ready for it. I would do a live demo of LinkedIn jobs. Go on LinkedIn jobs right now, type in SkillBridge. You're going to see something like 1,000 or to 1,200 individual SkillBridge opportunities that will have actual job descriptions for you to read through. Google, open up a fresh Google tab, type in DoD SkillBridge internships. Your computer is probably going to read the location where you're at. That doesn't matter. There are several hundred, if not 1,000 SkillBridge opportunities on Google as well. Okay. When to apply? Every branch is allowed to have their own SkillBridge program. That's what the DoD allows. So the Navy program is vastly different from the Army program. You can apply to an organization whenever you want, but here are the keys that you want to keep in mind. For any opportunity that requires a secret clearance or below, most recruiters are not looking any further than 90 days in advance. So if you have a secret clearance, you can't get a top secret or higher SkillBridge opportunity. That organization is not going to own your security clearance during SkillBridge. They have to hire you to then bump up your clearance. So 90 days or less is when you want to start applying to those opportunities that are secret, that require secret clearances or less. For those opportunities that support those 3-letter intel agencies, there is no reciprocity. They don't recognize DoD clearances. You want to apply to those opportunities. Damn it, Todd. You do want to apply to those opportunities 4 to 6 months before you're eligible to start SkillBridge. 4 to 6 months, they're gonna have to run an independent background check on you. Like I said, those 3-letter agencies do not recognize DoD clearances, so you don't want to waste your SkillBridge time with background investigation. BAH and terminal leave, and I can't even talk about that. Thanks, Todd.
I was really looking forward to the part where you said, listen, you can live like a king in New York City, or or you can be homeless in New York City. I'm like, that's the part I love the most, Dave.
Yeah, let me hit that real quick. So there's no financial gain or loss with SkillBridge. So if you are in middle America, let's take Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and you get put into a SkillBridge opportunity in New York City, you're going to be homeless because you're going to continue to receive Fort Sill, Oklahoma BAH. But if you're in New York City and you do a SkillBridge opportunity in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, you're going to live like a king or queen because you're going to continue to receive New York City BAH. The only funding that is lost is, I believe, for like spec op folks, those that are receiving like hazardous duty, jump pay, dive pay, stuff like that. If you're away from your command for 90 days or more, they take those pays away. Everybody else continues to receive the same pays, benefits, and allowances.
Awesome. Okay. That was what we have for today. I definitely don't want to prolong this, especially for our presenters, but are there any questions that you haven't been able to ask directly in the chat, or things that you'd really like to discuss? Just go ahead and unmute yourself, and we'll wait a couple of seconds, see if you have any questions for any of the presenters here.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, Marvin. Yes, sir.
Hi, yes, I'm Dr. Parker, and I have reached, I'm a veteran. I served in the Air Force, retired after 30 years. And I moved into transition into education, was an education officer at Creech Air Force Base for a little while. Then I opened up my own certification company. And what I was wondering, and thank you all for all the information, what I was wondering was, and a few of your presenters touched on it during their presentations, what I'm wondering is there a list, or is there any way I can find out all of the organizations that you all serve with that offers stipends or offers some type of tuition assistance towards the completion of certification?
You went on mute, Marvin.
Sorry about that. I heard Thomas Gill mention $1,000 cap for the boots to books towards certification. And I think I also heard one other person mention it. I have it here in my notes. And I was just wondering, is there a way I could kind of narrow a list of organizations down that you all currently have partnered with, so I can reach out to them to, you know, find out what would they be willing to add me to their list of certifying organizations or something like that? Is that question clear?
Oh, you're trying to get your company added as a vendor or resource for certification. Is that what you're
Right,
saying?
exactly.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Is there a list of companies?
And it looks like you took yourself on mute.
Yeah, I did. So I'm not necessarily sure of an all-encompassing list, partly because these things change quite often. Also because, I mean, we have so many programs that trying to provide one consolidated list is not necessarily going to be helpful for all audiences. I will say this, however, that, you know, as a veteran-owned business, which you are able to, IVMF has what we call our buy military-owned shopping guide. And so you could potentially, you know, submit your business as a listing on there. That's one option. We also have our Coalition for Veteran-Owned Business, which is, you know, we work closely with Novova and a number of other organizations to connect military-connected businesses with other corporate partners. And so once again, you would need to opt into that. But in terms of an actual, you know, list and resource, these things are going to vary too by funding cycles. So, you know, I can produce a list like that, but I can guarantee you it's going to be out of date within 3 months, if it's not out of date quicker, because some of the funding cycles are not going to be based on the calendar year. Some are based on federal, some are based July to June. So whatever someone gave, if and I know of a couple out there, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be, they're going to give you all the information that you need, I think, is the reason why we're all hesitating, perhaps, unless someone wants to disagree with me.
Now, I did add a scholarship database link in the chat. I'm not sure if that could be helpful. I'll add it again.
Okay, I see it there. Yeah, I see it there.
And one thing, we are going to send out the chat transcripts upon request. So if you see something on here that you haven't been able to get to, just request that when we send out the email. But so Marvin, did that get your question answered?
Yes, and I appreciate the response on that, and I will reach out to a few of you all. I'll look you up on LinkedIn and reach out to you. I think I've followed most of the folks that were presenters today just recently with my company logo. So it's great to put a name and a face to the LinkedIn posts.
Great.
Thanks.
Any other questions before we give the presenters 5 seconds to tell them why you should connect up with them?
Hey Todd, could I ask one real quick?
Yes, sir.
I just know we have a lot of knowledge in this room about folks that have already done the transition and things of that. sort. And I know one of the big things that really stuck out was this reminder about networking with everyone and getting connected. One of the things leaving the military has been tough for me is trying to nail down that what I want to do when I grow up. And I didn't know if I could get any friendly plugs about how to work through the informational interview asks and how to get connected to other people so you can have some of those conversations, because I'm still currently trying to learn what I want to do when I grow up. So I thought I'd see a few hands, or at least would hope to.
Yeah, so I saw Brian, Eric, and Lucas.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind, Todd, I'll
yeah.
jump in super quick. You know, the thing
Yeah.
that helped me is just super simple, informational interviews. You know, this isn't a paid announcement by anybody who's going to get anything out of it. Literally, search on LinkedIn, and if you need to reach out to me to figure out how to help with searches, you can do that. I'll be happy to walk you through it. Search on LinkedIn for folks that that used to be from your branch of service that are doing something that you think you may want to do now, and just shoot them a message and say, hey, you know, I'm getting ready to separate or retire, whatever your situation is, and I think I'd like to learn a little more about what you're doing. Will you give me 10 minutes of your time? And I never ran into anybody who said no. And just call them up. Don't ask for a job. Don't ask them for them to review your resume. Just say, hey, I think I might want to be a program manager. Can you tell me how you got into the industry, what you like about it and what you don't? And they're going to dump on you, you know, great information. And then you do that 10 times over and you're going to figure out if that's for you or not. You know, I was signed up with O2O to get my program manager certification until I talked to a whole bunch of program managers. And I realized, oh my goodness, that is not the life I want for me. It's great for other folks. And I'm glad there's folks out there that want to do it, but I'm like, this is not what I want to do. And simply by talking to folks who used to be, Air Force, that were program managers now, it works incredibly well. And you know, if that leads you to something you want to do, that's a great way to work it.
Thanks,
Right.
Brian, because that's been the challenge. There's so many certifications and so many opportunities that I don't want to sit here and get 50 certifications and find out 6 months from now that it's nothing that I want to be doing. So
yeah, chat with the folks that are doing what you think you want to do now and make sure that you can get a good feel that's what you really want to do before you spend your time grabbing at those certifications.
Yeah, Lucas.
Let me pile on here, Devin. When it comes to networking, I like to break it down like this. Okay, you're going to fall into one of two categories. You're either somebody that's good at the dating scene, or you're somebody that's bad at the dating scene. Okay, and if you're dating, of course, you know, you don't walk into an establishment, walk up to somebody you think you're attracted to, and immediately say, "Hey, let's get married." Okay, you're going to get the same exact response if you reach out on LinkedIn to the CEO of a major company and say, "Hey, hire me." You're going to get laughed at, ignored, and walk away. So what do? Engage with content, comment on their materials, get to know them as a professional online, read the things that they share, care about what they care about, have a conversation, and eventually get down to the point where you say, hey, I'm really interested in that article that you posted the other day. It would be it would really be great if I could ask you a couple of questions. Could you spare 10 minutes to talk to me? Okay, so that would be somebody that's good at dating. All right. Now, if you go back to Ireland, where my great-great-grandfather is from, they used matchmakers. Why? Because most Irish Catholics are horrible at dating, right? So what is your modern answer here? The equivalent, talk to the recruiters. Why? Because they get paid to make matches. Go on LinkedIn, find the company you want to work for. You want to work for John Deere, go to their page. Search under people, find the recruiters. Look for the recruiters that are working in the area you would like to work in and reach out to them, because they get paid to talk to people like you and help you find a job with the company. They're going to get bonuses. They're going to get fees. That's their job. So figure out which one of those you're in. Hey, try both methodologies. You never know, they might work.
Right. Eric?
Now,
I'll
can
add
help.
something else once Binal's done.
I was going to say, to help you with that, what I also used was Veterati.
Yeah.
Veterati is a resource that is made specifically just for this. You talk to professionals in every single different type of business or phase of life, military, non-military. Their whole purpose is to be part of a network where they are going to talk to you about what they do day in and day out, and how and what you need to do to be part of that resource, basically, or be part of that business world. So that's how I got my job. So I wanted to know, somebody was like, oh, you want to be a program manager, you might want to look at Scrum Master. And I was like, what is a Scrum Master? And one of my buddies was like, you need to go talk to this person on Veterati, just have a conversation. Got on Veterati, connected with the person, got on their schedule, had a 30-minute conversation. Hey, what does a Scrum Master do? As I'm talking to the person, he started talking to me about the passion about people, removing blockers, sounded more and more about what I wanted to do. Next thing he knows, he was like, hey, do you want to work for Microsoft? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? He was like, send me a resume. And I told him I wanted to do SkillBridge. Next thing I know, I work for Microsoft now. So things like that, like this is like a fairy tale, I'm telling you, but like things like that can happen just by having a network. And I hustled for the last 2 years of my transitioning career. And it is stressful, I will tell you, but if you keep hustling to make sure that you are finding your niche, making sure that you're finding what it is that you want to do when you transition, and making sure that you understand what it is and who you want to deal with, you know, all of those things, you will find your spot when you get out. Network is definitely how you're going to make it though.
All right. And Eric, I know you had your hand up way back.
I mean, I would just say it starts with understanding yourself and what you care about, right? So then you can target the people you want to network to learn about the things that you care about. And so, I mean, that's why we developed the course, Find Your Calling. So it's to figure out your purpose after the military. How do you want to attack? You're just changing your uniform, but maybe it's still the same mission. And so networking is learning. Like Banal was just describing, but doing that self-inventory. What are my strengths? What am I just naturally good at? In all the positions I had in the military, what did I enjoy doing the most? What was that common golden thread? And so there's tools out there to help you walk the dog in that, so you can realize, like Banal realized, oh, this is what I'm about. It's about people or you know, building bridges or whatever it is. And then you have an area to attack in a direction to go with all of these efforts that we've been talking about, whether it's how you build your LinkedIn profile, who you network with, what you put on your resume, the organizations that you look at, all of that starts to triangulate down, because you're starting way out here. And as you define what you want to do in your purpose, you start to neck it down closer and closer and closer to the group of people you want to talk to and learn from, and the companies you want to explore.
So I think in the interest of time, and all of that was great information. I know there's probably other questions, and I see some of that going on in the chat. I want the presenters to get the last 5 seconds. Just tell us why you should reach out to me. I'm going to start. If you have questions on your finances, what does that mean as you transition? Reach out to me. And so I'm just going to go in order of how I see them on the screen. So Banal, tell me, unmute yourself. Tell us why we should reach out to you.
Absolutely. So like I said before, 40,000 different organizations. We are here to help you get certification, training, and apprenticeships. So if you're looking to find your next, what I need to do to get myself educated, free resources is what we do, bring all those resources into one place.
Right. Tom Gill.
Helping anybody transition, just follow us on LinkedIn or sign up for our newsletter. We have a major announcement coming out within the next month you're not going to want to miss. It's going to affect everybody. A lot of people even in this room. I know some of you know what it is, some of you don't. But come on and join us. It's going to be a good time. We're all here to help.
Great. Samira.
If you want to learn more about different industries, how to better articulate yourself to make yourself more of a candidate for industries, connect with me and I can help you, and I can help you streamline your transition.
Great. Lori Norris.
Promise you that no matter what you're facing in your transition, there are others who have walked that same path, faced that same obstacle. I promise you there is an episode on the podcast on whatever it is that you're facing. So come give it a listen. You know, whether it's conducting informational interviews, finding your purpose, writing your resume, we're here to help. And I promise you that my goal at the end of every episode is to give you actionable information that you can take out and put into place in your transition to smooth your path. That's what we're here for.
Awesome. Anna Blanchard.
Thank you. So everything we do at IVMF is evidence-based, research-driven. You know, we're going to connect you with other organizations if we aren't the right fit. So please don't hesitate to reach out either through our website, LinkedIn, connect with me. I can connect you with one of our advisors who can step you through what aspects of our extraordinary range of programs might be relevant to you. So even if you're not sure if we can help, I can make sure that there's somebody who can work you through that decision tree.
Awesome. Keith, why would they reach out to you?
As all of my LinkedIn posts say at the end, hashtag, I don't get paid a cent for doing this. I just have a heart for helping veterans. You know, I have a full-time job on the side, and I have a passion to help. My transition was terrifying, mostly self-induced, as I came to find later on, but I don't want anybody else. If I can help you with one thing, I'm happy to do it. Reach out to me. I do it all, resume reviews and interview preps. In the resume reviews, send your resume to every single person that's willing to give you feedback, because you're going to get back differing opinions, and that's okay. But that's a whole nother sidebar topic we can talk about later on.
Awesome. Leslie.
I think if the only thing that you need to know is that you don't have to do this alone. You've got this whole entire tribe out here that wants nothing more than to see you succeed, but definitely get you somebody that'll walk the journey with you. An ACP mentor is there for a year, so they will help you to utilize all of these resources, but definitely understand you're never alone. So please reach out.
Lucas.
Why should you reach out to Recruit Military? The staff of Recruit Military is 75% veterans, 15% male spouses, and a couple of really amazing SMEs to round out the team. We are not just veteran-friendly company. We are a veteran company, all right? We are here for you because we care. Reach out to us because our employers, 16,000 of them, work with us because they want to hire military talent. If they weren't looking for military talent, they'd go someplace else. And because someone is going to pick up the phone and call you and help you fill out your profile, help you upload your resume, help you get registered, help you generate your saved searches. Nobody else is going to do that for you. Why reach out to us? As of today, we have 318,000 jobs, and you only need one. We can spare it.
That's awesome. Eric.
Yeah, going back to what Leslie said, hey, stay connected in the veteran community. Reach out to us to connect with us. We're very passionate about what we do. Like a lot of people on this call, we want to see veterans transition and their spouses into meaningful, purposeful careers where you have satisfaction and the ability to thrive. It's why we exist. We were born out of that challenge for one individual who had walked that dog himself. We're pretty darn good at it. We're proud of our retention rates, and we stay connected with our alumni. In fact, over half of our coaches in the program are alumni who come back to coach. So we'd love to help you. So give us a crack at it and stay connected to your veterans on your left and your right.
Awesome. And Brian?
Hey, thanks, Todd. I appreciate it. I have a teacher's heart. Like I said, 14 out of my 28 years in the Air Force, I spent as a teacher, instructor, helping folks out. And I love helping folks understand better about VA loans. And I hate seeing folks get hosed over by some potential lenders out there who aren't doing things all on the up and up, treating veterans right. So happy to answer any questions on those. I put in the, I'm going to use part of my time here to, one of the things that I know folks have struggled with is finding a good photograph, headshot kind of thing for social media. Eric Stiegel is an amazing Navy veteran who started an organization called Portraits for Patriots. Headshots. He started here in Colorado Springs, and he has expanded all around the nation now. He's done thousands and thousands of headshots. I know Eric personally. He took my first headshot in early 2019 before he even had a second photographer on his staff. So amazing guy, and he's doing great stuff out there. So if you need that, that's, it's important to have a good social media presence out there and having the right photograph out there, and Portraits for Patriots will help you out. And again, completely free for all veterans. So no sales pitch whatsoever, just a free headshot helping folks out. He cares and he does a great job, as his whole staff does.
All right. And Anna, I don't think I've got to you yet. Is that correct? Okay. Yes.
You got to me. I did it.
Oh, you did. Okay. So is all the presenters, Vinal, you were okay. Everybody's good. Listen, have a great night, everybody. Reach out to these folks. They are some of the best that I know out there, and that may not mean a lot to you, but I can tell you they are there to help you. And if we can help in any way, reach out. Presenters, thank you so much. Namaste, as Lucas would say. And thank you for joining us, taking time out of your family's time and your work schedule. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Great job. We appreciate everything you do for us.
Way
Yes,
to go,
sir. Thank
Todd.
you.
What bringing together an amazing group of people. That's pretty outstanding. You're good.
I appreciate it. All right. See y'all later.
Thanks, Todd.
Take
All
care,
right, thank
Todd.
you.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Thanks to all of you.